for bionic parts. Then we can have the old people.
Well, say the young people got those jobs, then the old people could go back to their original jobs, and the young people would be doing that newer thing, but the old people could still be doing what they have been doing.
Aren't you supposed to be behind the camera?
No. Keep talking.
But I actually want to go back onto a point where you said like solar panels. The making of solar panels does create a lot of pollution. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff does that, and that's what people don't realize. A lot of people are like, oh look, energized cars. If you actually look at...
Besides the waste, nuclear power plants create very, very little pollution.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that.
Like almost, comparatively, like zero.
Yeah, I'm not saying... We could use nuclear energy, especially in this day and age where we haven't had a spill in...
Well, since the 80s.
Since the 80s.
People are
but
so
that was, I don't even think that was in America.
No, we're talking America or the world.
Chernobyl, the disaster of Chernobyl. There's always going to be the potential for disasters, even in the oil industry.
Yeah. All the oceans, have you seen how many oil tankers have crashed and created large amounts of destruction in the ocean?
People are so scared of nuclear stuff because of when it first came out, it was a weapon.
Hiroshima
and how like people are like, oh, there's mutations and all this stuff,
Right.
and all the problems that when it first came out, scientists, it was a new thing. There was problems, but in chemistry class we were learning about all the advancements that scientists have made, and they can do all this more stuff with nuclear, but people won't accept nuclear because they're scared. We need to like move on from that fear.
Also, there's another problem. If we nuclearize our energy, other countries like North Korea and Iran, when they see this, they're going to be like, oh my God, they're preparing for war! Back to battle stations!
I'm sorry, but unfortunately,
I broke my
things such as countries such as North Korea. I don't know if anybody's been up on the update on North Korea, but they're already preparing for war. These missiles that they've been shooting, just testing.
I mean, the nuclear proliferation is a serious issue. I mean, if we do, you can't use the nuclear material in the power plant for weapon heads, but it's a site of attack. Like if a country were to bomb a nuclear plant in America, it would be huge devastation.
They can still do it. We have a nuclear plant in Arizona.
But if they were
we
widespread,
have a nuclear weapons
like we don't want a
stockpile
nuclear war. That would be the worst thing for the environment.
But it seems like we're going towards
That is true. You know, nuclear war, worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
like that.
See, the only good thing about nuclear war is people are so afraid. Like, the good thing about people being afraid of nuclear power is people are so afraid to go into nuclear war because they know, and especially Korea, that's why they probably haven't fired on us yet, is they know if they attack us, and if they send a missile to us and even destroy the United States, they're going to be destroyed just as easily because we're going to see that missile, and the last act is going to be, let's shoot a missile over to everybody we hate.
Yeah, but think about the size of the nation as well. If we send a missile to North Korea, and if it just so happens we somehow manage to miss, and instead we hit South Korea, that will like devastate like half of South Korea. It would devastate half of North Korea.
Practical.
Well,
it's not really a plausible
considering
situation.
the whole missing,
not.
I mean that could happen with any bombs, but like
I know we have the whole guidance thing.
Any kind of bombing, in my opinion, is
Horrible.
horrible because it kills people and it kills the environment and it completely ruins it in that location. So I mean, the nuclear power, I'm still hesitant, but I say maybe okay. Maybe with more research, okay. Nuclear warheads, no.
I need to smoke.
Okay, speaking of wars, let's compare this. Let's call it a war against destroying the environment or whatever. Let's compare it to World War II when President Franklin D. Roosevelt told automakers to make tanks and war vehicles, as well as telling other companies that they had to now produce things for the war rather than what they were usually doing. And they had to change practically overnight. Like, obviously it probably took them a little while, but they had to change pretty fast to be able to be ready for World War II. Do you guys think we can do the same with the environmental issue.
If you look at it though, in World War II, we had sent our men into battle. We had sent half, if not more, of America into a battle zone where we needed to have tanks and jeeps to be prepared, where we had to have the guns and the bombs so that our men wouldn't get killed. Unfortunately, people aren't looking. Not enough people are looking at the environment and going, "We need to change overnight so that we are safe." In World War II, that's completely different. A different mindset. I mean, in World War II, it was, "Oh crap, we need to save our men now."
It was like now is the time to change.
Yeah.
This is kind of like, oh, we'll change, next generation, we'll change. We keep putting it off.
I mean, could we? Yes, we're
Maybe
more
we
than
need some kind of
capable to
fascist
do it.
fascist terrorist group to threaten people so that we can just bam.
Yeah, it would have to.
Well, I don't know about environmental terrorism. I mean, if it
Yeah.
does make results.
PETA.
But
I think PETA goes too far. I don't agree with
I think
that.
PETA
I
is
think
full
they're
of a
super
bunch of
critical.
idiots.
I have heard such crazy stuff about PETA. I don't even
Sea
know.
kittens.
I don't even know what
What's
PETA
that?
really is.
Sea kittens.
They called fish seekins because you shouldn't eat fish because they were seekins.
And also
And-
because
evolution.
they're neurobiologists.
They just
No,
said
they're-
they were
they're
cute
sea-
like kittens, so don't eat them. They're
I
seekins.
don't think fish are cute. I mean, I don't eat fish anyway, but not because they're cute.
Yeah, I'm
There's
sorry.
this entire
I'm sorry,
argument online about it.
No, but I do agree with. We should not have environmental terrorists. That's just going to create more problems. That's going to turn people off of environment or helping the environment. It already has. People who sit there and destroy corporations that cut down trees. They're like, I believe somebody attacked a McDonald's corporation because McDonald's uses up a lot of trees.
Terrorism is the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
Protests. I think.
Protest work. Peaceful protests should be done, but not environmental terrorism where they blow up and kill people, because that turns people off. If there's one thing that's going to turn people off,
It's
saving
killing
the environment, is saving other people, or is killing other people.
Yeah, because the whole point of helping the environment is to help ourselves. Well, if we're going at this, route, then yeah, it's to save humanity.
Yeah, people who are like, oh, we just need to save the animals and everything. I love animals and like, I'm for that and everything, but if you go about acting like
Going
you
to
don't
the
care about
street.
money and stuff, and you're like, oh, hippie flower child.
Well,
Everybody who actually has power to change stuff is just gonna look at you like,
we can't act like, oh, we're the Earth's shepherds, we're above animals. No, I think humans are animals too, and we can't be like, oh, it's my responsibility to save the animals. No, I just need to live in harmony with the other animals, and it's not my
do not kill
Yeah,
the animals.
I can't.
I
lord
love
it over
animals
them.
dearly, but I love meat just as much.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Love you, Chelsea.
Oh god.
We can save this. We can save vegetarianism versus meat eaters for a different discussion. But going on the same line, you can't. Yes, saving the environment is important, but you can't go to the extremes to do it, because if you go to the extremes, you're going to turn a lot of people off. You can reason, you can compromise,
Exactly.
but people that go, well, you need to change your environment because I say so, because you're killing it. If somebody were to come up to me on the street and go, you're killing the environment, you need to change. You know what that makes me do? That makes me want to go out and eat a McDonald's burger and throw the wrapper onto the ground, because that's human nature, to rebel against people that go, you need to do this now.
And kick a squirrel.
It's gonna annoy. It not only does it turn people off, it annoys people. It annoys people to be told what to do. But if we were to compromise, such as meat eaters not eating as much meat, or like, if everybody in the United States, if everybody in the world decided they were going to recycle and they were going to throw away their trash.
But then again, recycling does produce a lot of air pollution, so we're back to the problem. You save the trees, but you deplete the ozone layer.
But it's a compromise. I mean, we're never going to fully
But if you use less paper,
deal with.
if you use
yeah.
less paper, then you have less pollution.
And then
What is it? Not an inverse relationship. It's a direct, maybe directly proportional. You bring one level down, and then the other level comes down with it.